Hey YouTube, I'm using beer here. Been a while, but I'll get into that a little bit. But I'm going to give you a few updates and a little chitty chat here. I'll turn the camera around here in a minute. I'm going to be bird hunting, air quotes here, because I'm basically going to listen to a football game and a baseball game on the radio and take a nice ride in the woods. But if perchance Rough Growth says, "Oh, I don't want to live no more," I will oblige him and take him home and make a quesadilla. So let me turn the camera around and we'll go over what's going on. Okay, just a few quick updates. Not a lot of serious hunting going to be going on here at all today, but really little serious hunting while I'm trying to chat with you guys. But I'm still pretty drive down the road here. So I had a video that I shot a fair amount of for wild hops, and I was going to post a video, but it really was the same basic footage as last year. There's a lot less hops out there this year. It was just, because of the growing season. But I looked at it, and then I rewatched my wild hop video from last year. I was like, well, if I don't have anything new to really say there, I didn't see a point. If you really want to know about the wild hops that I harvest, you can go look at last year's video, and it's still on the YouTube, and it's still reasonably accurate. My hops, on the other hand, are going to move, and I had kind of tossed that in a little bit in that video that I shot, and I was like, you know what, that really just doesn't fit there. Basically, when I moved mine, I moved them last fall, and they grew this year. They grew well. I had a few hops on them. I like them to have a little better sunlight, and I need them to have a little better irrigation, a little more supplemental watering. And the thing is I'm going to move them, and I also have some grapes back there that I cleared out a lot of stuff so that they would get better sun. Well, I don't want to put the hops in a position such that after they're 18 foot high, they block all the sun from the grapes. And so I'm also putting a post in the ground, 16 to 18 feet. And I'm not moving that thing. So I'm trying to think through as best I can the placement of the hops this year for this spring. And I'm going to move them in the spring when they should be moved. I have some really nice videos I watched. I actually watched the Chop and Brew videos on hops, and I watched them a couple of times and went, you know what, this is the way I will be moving my hops next year. And so if you want to watch theirs, Chop and Brew, I think it was like episode 6 or something, was the one where they transplanted a whole root ball, and that's kind of what I'm going to do. But so that's where the hops are. So much for being quick, huh? So as far as beer goes, there is beer in my fermenter, which is a very nice change from the last few weeks. It took a long time before I actually brewed Fug Nugget again. Just a couple of things conspired against me and getting everything ready, and then I was going to do back-to-back brew days where I did Fug Nugget and I did Jared's Pub Pumpkin. What got me there is my brain was not quite right, and although I can put 2 primaries in my freezer there, both these batches are just above 5, and one of my ones that I use, if I'm going to do that, has to be in a glass carboy that's just 5, and so neither one was going to fit right, and so I need to take 4 days in between to do that. And now I have another little issue that I'm trying to sort through, and so, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the thing where I transfer that after most of the action is gone, 4 or 5 days in. I'm going to transfer into a secondary. What I'm transferring into is the corny keg. Well, now we're just going to have 5 gallons, but I'm good with that. It'll be a nice clean 5 gallons, and I'll let it finish in there. And I did go out and get an extra gas side fitting for my pin lock corny, and I'm just going to put a tube in there and put a blow-off tube in it, and then I'll just pop that off and carbonate it when the time comes. And I should be able to fit, I think, 3 cornies in my freezer with my primary fermenter. And so my plan is to do the Pub Pumpkin relatively next. The thing becomes, I also would like to do another hoppy something, and I don't want to. I'm going to use fresh yeast for the pub pumpkin, but I could use the Fug Nugget yeast cake to do a hoppy something. And so, yeah, I'm right now just still torn between throwing something hoppy on top of that yeast cake after I do the transfer, or going the other way. Now, what I could do is I could do something hoppy in the glass carboy and do the pub pumpkin. And so, but then it has to almost be a double brewed egg, because I want the pub pumpkin done soon, but I don't want the yeast cake to sit. The way I've done it best, the way it's worked best for me, is I rack one off, and within a couple hours, I just seal that up and leave it wet, and within a couple hours, I dump the new wort right over top of that yeast cake, stir it up, and off she goes. It's been very effective. It works well. The only thing you have to do is make sure that you chill your wort very well before you dump it over top of the yeast cake. But that's pretty standard. And so I'm torn a little bit there, but I definitely have the Fug Nugget going. The pub pumpkin is soon. The pub pumpkin is within the next couple days. It's conceivable that it would be 4 days out, 5 days out if I decide to do a hoppy in between. But I think that I'd rather have it done around the same time, so that when I have them done, I can send some off to Jared, because we're going to try to trade some back and forth to see how we each did with each other's recipes. Now, they're just our versions of each other's recipes, because in fact, we didn't end up using exactly the same grains. In one, we didn't use the exact same hops, and obviously our systems are very different. But they're very similar, and they should be within reason. We're hoping, we're thinking anyway. Similar. Obviously, our waters are different, and so there's going to be some differences, and so that's just kind of our little experiment that we're doing, and see how it goes. Because I'd kind of like to expand this to some other recipes and some other things, but I would like to see how my Fug Nugget fares with somebody else doing it. Now, I think his is going to come out higher ABV than mine. I did not get the same efficiency out of my mash this time as I did last time, by about 0.5%, maybe a little more, maybe 0.75% alcohol. So we'll see. Not a huge deal for me, as long as I still like the taste of it, but at some point I'm trying to get it so that it's closer to the same every time. And actually, if the taste is the same, if the ABV wavers a little bit, yeah, I'm okay with that too. So, alright, well, I'm going to wrap this up. Cheers, 17. I'll try to get this posted in the next few days, and everybody have a blast.